Hi and welcome to Dr. Mix! So what does make a song so special? What is the feel of the song? What is the swing of the song? See, this particular aspect of the rhythm is so fundamental to how some music feels. As you may know, I have recently released Music Producer Gold Guide, where I explain everything that I know about music production in 45 videos, 11 hours. And what I'm gonna show you is an entire episode about shuffle, swing, and feel. And if you want to check out the full course, goldguide.uk is the link that you want to visit. Let's play the video. Shuffle, swing, and feel. As you would imagine, although nowadays we're working with digital systems that have a perfect grid where we can lay down our drums and our rhythms, nevertheless, there are some things that are still very human, that are typical to certain styles of music. I'm gonna start with shuffle, the idea of shuffle that some of you may know and all of you have heard before. So I'll give you the difference between something that is shuffled or swung and something that is not shuffled. Shuffled. Non-shuffle. Shuffle. It gives it a nice feel, doesn't it? But hey, let's define it. What is shuffle? Shuffle basically consists in the idea of pushing to the right every other note. It can be applied to 8 notes, to 16 notes. In this case, I'm gonna demonstrate to you how it is applied to 16 notes. So if you have, right, this is 4 notes, 8 notes, 16 notes. Okay? Now, I am going to take every second 16 note and push it to the right. Make it a little bit late. Okay? Instead of going, I go. So basically, instead of going ki, I go ki. All right? I think I can explain it better with a piece of paper, all right? Say that you have your flow of 16 notes. Now, this is gonna be note number 1, note number 2, note number 3, note number 4, etc. When I shuffle or swing, I'm pushing these notes to the right. So that the result is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see how the second note now it's a lot closer to the next one. So there is a bigger gap here and a smaller gap here. So instead of going ti 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 ti, it goes ti 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 ti. I'm gonna let that marinate with you a little bit. Ti 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 is ti 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 ti. So the amount of swing is determined by how far you push these notes. So on some drum machines, you have fixed amounts of swing. On most DAWs, you have a percentage. So for example, this would be 0%, okay? If I push this note halfway between, yeah, now we have a 50% swing. So this is a very mathematical way of looking at it, but you know, you have to introduce some mathematics if you want to analyze what humans do with rhythm. And swinging is a human activity. It's a human feel, it's a human trait of how people make music, especially in certain styles like jazz and hip hop. I'm going to demonstrate for a second with my finger drumming how much shuffle you can put into it and what difference it makes. Like say that I am working with a big swing track. Now I'm gonna swing it really hard. As opposed to a more relaxed shuffle. I could go straight and go. You see what I'm doing there? So I'm gonna swing it a bit. When I swing it more. When I swing it even more. So all I'm doing is I'm shifting the even notes to the right. I hope this explains. I'm going to talk about an important mistake that I see people make a lot. And that is the difference between shuffle and 12/8. When I swing, I'm literally displacing the note to the right. But there are rhythms that are natively in triplets. If you take the shuffle rhythm, it's just a coincidence that the name of a rhythm is also the name of the characteristics of rhythms. So the shuffle, like for example, Rosanna by Toto. So in this case, we're actually going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and that's 12/8. Of these triplets, if you only play the first and the third note, you get. Is this shuffle? Yes, it is shuffle in the way I was talking about it before, but this time you're not actually displacing anything. You're just hitting the first and the third note of that triplet movement that's baked into 12/8. So this shuffle, usually it's not varied a lot, but it feels like it's swinging because you can do. If I was going straight, I would go. But this is an entirely different rhythm. When we're talking about 12/8, now we're hitting the first and the third. Now I can spell out the triplet. All right, this is just something that I wanted to clarify, because you can get shuffle if you just select 12/8 on your DAW. It's not gonna be as flexible as when you use swing. So let me demonstrate that in shuffle and quantization. For this, I'm gonna go back to my Cubase. So let me show you, okay? Let's go 90. Okay, that's a good rhythm. So I'm going to just record some drums now. All right. Now let's get into it. I'm gonna double click so that I can show you exactly what's happening. All right. Now these are my beats. Yeah. These are my 8 notes and these are my 16 notes. All right. Let me quantize it. I'm gonna go Control A and hit Q. Now it's all nice and quantized. And it sounds like this. All right, let me show you though. If I open up the quantize panel right here, then I can introduce my swing. See, the swing right now is applying to the 16 notes. So check out what happens. See, right there. See how every other 16 note is pushed to the right. You see that? So say that I introduce a swing of 51, all right? Now, I hit all the notes again, and I quantize them. bang. See what happened right there? Let's listen to how that sounds now. You get me? Let me try and go even harder with the swing. Like 100%. So I don't know exactly how Cubase calculates that, but yeah, I mean 100% goes all this way down with Cubase. So I can quantize again, and now we got. That's really heavily swung, isn't it? 2, 3, 4. Right? This is how it happens in most DAWs. Of course, each DAW is going to be slightly different. You know, different drum machines have different ways of selecting shuffle. Some of them have a shuffle control, which is linear. Some of them have just fixed shuffle amounts, like the 909. So yeah, that's it. That's how you deal with shuffle in a programming situation. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the swing and feel. So this whole exercise of trying to recreate with electronic machines a steady form of shuffle is because we are mimicking a human behavior, which is not playing all the notes exactly at the same time, all the time, or in a very rigid and mechanical way. I'll give you a few examples of feel. Let me go to hip hop, okay? Hip hop obviously has, you know, a lot of swing often. And basically the amount of swing that I put into it will give me that sense of urgency. Or no feel, or no swing at all. Right? A bit more mechanical. But this happens in other styles of music as well. For example, samba. You know the feeling, right? It's not exactly chippy 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 chippy. It's chickity cut chickity cut chickity cut chickity cut chickity cut chickity. Let me show you. I'm not going. I'm going. Where does this come from? From an instrument that's called pandeiro. All right. So the instrument pandeiro is like a tambourine that you hold like this, and you go te pa te pa te pa. So because it takes your left hand a little bit of time to move the tambourine around, so now you have a little gap of rhythm there. And then you have to recoup later, right? And that happens on every bar, basically. On every beat, it happens. So that movement becomes part of the sound. Because I have to do that movement, I have to delay the sound. So for a moment, my 16th note is pushed to the right again. But it only happens once. It doesn't happen on every note. It's take it, take it, cut, take it. Right? And it happens, you know, I'm thinking right now, cumbia rhythm. It's not. It's. In this case, the second note goes slightly before the beat, slightly before its quantized place, and the following one goes a little bit later. So. So these are things that as a producer you have to keep in mind, because these little variations, these little idiosyncrasies are what makes a rhythm personal. One of the examples that I'm going to give you for this, my 808, is, for example, with reggaeton, right? You can play reggaeton regularly, like I can play completely quantized. Or I can introduce a little bit of that Afro-Cuban feel. It's not. It's. I mean, you can play with this and do it even too much. You know, and you can come up with something really, really different. But, you know, playing with the swing, playing with the feel of it is being able to understand where the differences are. Feel and swing.